Hey, hey, we are live for Title Tuesday. Let's go. Alright, we got our game. Let's get some volume. Alright, we're playing an FM from Spain. Playing the modern against us. C5 transposing to a Sicilian. What I like to do here is this tricky line with H4. And if H5, I go Queen F3, attacking F7 before the knight could come to E5, which would deal with it really nicely. And if E6 to defend mate, we go into this fun gambit. Hello, Sigmund. You need some advice. What can I do for you? As we get our gambit glasses on. Actually, give me one moment as I finish setting up the stream. Teach me how to do it. You know what? I'll do that later. So, Queen B6. Defends D6. That's not what I expected. I expected pawn D6 and this line. Queen B6. Probably bishop F4 regardless. Right, because E5, I'm thinking I can take, and now with that E pawn out of the way, I can take F7, King D8, and checkmate. So I'm looking at these squares once more. If Queen A5, just block that somehow. Maybe even Bishop D2 back. Queen B6 to take this way. I expect Knight A6 more than anything. And then we got to think about what we want to do. So Knight D6, King F8. If I were to take F7, I think this was just not smart. Take E5, take check and mate. Throwing in this does not change the line. And I think we just win. It's true I don't have like Bishop E3 or something hitting the queen and the king. Oh, this is just literally checkmate in not that many moves in our first Title Tuesday game against an FM from Spain. All right, how about it? And we got a brilliant. I really did not expect that to happen, but let's analyze this game. We had 97.9 accuracy to 54 accuracy. I don't imagine we'll get another Title Tuesday game quite like that. Let's see here, E4. So, this is a fun little setup to do. You can also do it, I know it out of Sicilians. You know, if they play here G6, we could play bishop to C4, bishop to G7. Okay, why do I even include these moves H4, H5? Let me talk about this. Because, first of all, this attack is dumb if they've played Knight C6, and then Knight to E5, as I mentioned during the game, defending mate and forking my queen and bishop. So I include these moves H4. I'm trying to play H5. So if you do something else, I don't have Queen F3 now, but I do have this pawn sticking in your face on H5, and it'll be there for a while. I might push at some point, I might take at some point, but I'll probably leave it there for a while and make you suffer. So most people push either H6 or H5 against H4, H6 so that they could answer with G5, or H5 directly to take that away. But now I have access to this square, so look at this line. So if I play Queen F3, if they play your Knight to H6 to defend F7, now I play D4, threatening to take and take. So if something like castle's here, I can even push this pawn all the way to D5 and just take a great center, or try to grab that square so well. D4, C takes D4, Knight B5, the very square so well. D4, C takes D4, Knight B5. The very best move here is D5, actually, which is not easy to do because it looks like it's really, really vulnerable hitting here. But really, you have Knight to F6, bishop takes B7 not working. This is check, and my bishop will be lost, and otherwise, black should be castling safely. Most people play this move D6, d6, but after bishop to f4, the line continues here. e5, not playable because of what happened in the game. The line continues here with bishop to e5, really the only way to defend and trade, and queen to a3, looking at getting that knight to d6 anyway. This knight's going to come to g5, which is the reason why so many moves ago we actually induced h4 and h5, so that that knight could not be kicked out with h6. But yes, castling the king here, playing f4, bring that knight to g5, and everybody piling up on f7. White is having a lot of fun here, and a great compensation for the pawn, with black not castling nor developing. In the game, queen to b6 was played to keep my knight out of d6, but I have just a really natural move, bishop to f4, once you realize that e5 is still not playable because of the resource I was looking for anyway, because of the other line I knew, which was takes, and takes here, and I cannot believe this actually happened. With checkmate here. What should my opponent have done at this point? Yeah, probably knight to a6, and I was starting to calculate knight to d6, king to f8, and knight takes f7 here. Looking at king takes f7, bishop to c7 check with no e5 pawn there, we can do that. The most challenging line here then would be queen to b4, but I think we're good here. Bishop to g2. Can they take anything of annoyance? I guess queen takes b2. We should calculate knight takes h8 is check, and then we would save our rook, so that's fine. Otherwise, yeah, taking here, yeah, this being check really makes that okay. And then we're going to take here. Another advantage of including these moves. If that pawn were on h7, might not be so obvious how we're busting out of there. But here it is quite obvious, and I'm up in exchange and more. In the game, my opponent just plays e5, like I said. Takes, and check, and mate. Wow, an 11-move checkmate. Flawlessly done. Back over 2,700 in our first Titled Tuesday game. Also play this gambit. This is a fun one. This I call the chess mood gambit. I call it the chess mood gambit because I have to give the credit to chessmood.com. Okay, let me get coffee. We're good, right? Next round hasn't started. Okay. Hello, everyone. Let's get set up here in the chat. Oops. Clicked on my Twitch recap, which I haven't even checked out. I haven't even checked out all my recaps of all my various apps of the year. What's up, Renee? So that was, I missed the first round of Titled Tuesday. I had a 0-point bye, unfortunately. So that was actually my first round. So we got 1 out of 2, even though we got 1 out of 1. I can't believe we had an 11-move checkmate against a titled player. 1 second. I'm feeling like the coffee machine shortchanged me because this is half full. And when I dumped the water in, it was like full. Anyway, I'm not mad. Just disappointed. What's up, Coloco? Next round should be a starting because the rounds tend to take exactly 10 minutes. Chat, today is my sister's birthday. Which is awesome. My favorite person. Can I please tell you? Yeah, what can I tell you? Tomorrow I fly out. I'm going on vacation. You may not see me for a minute. Alright, we're playing a CM. Ruslan Nizamietin. Let's hit him with the A6. The Grafe Banco. The F3 is a little tricky. We can't just play B5 because they can ignore it easily without a knight here. So let's switch it up to E6. Alright. Let's be as bothersome as we can. I could play main Catalan stuff, but let's play B5 and challenge their bishop. Make use of this A6 move. D5, the point would be to take it and take. Alright, let's... Like I said, right? Well, takes, what's going on there? Knight E5, D5 and take. Let's just challenge. Maybe let's move. Now he wants to take it. Teach me. Come on. Let's try to get out there in one go. And like Queen B6 and such. We should be good with all our pieces. Baby, let's move. I think that might not be a fun journey for your knight. Do you disagree? Could play this with C4. That's actually a really interesting move. But so is just take. Knight takes... I think you got problems there, bud. Take G2, take back. Maybe they're okay. The other option is C4, banking on forcing. No, let's take it. I think knight takes is forced. Well, queen takes, you just drop your knight. Queen need to defend the knight. That doesn't really do much. It's just kind of a thing. E5, knight f3, and knight c6. I guess there's logic to that. I mean, they're just playing with b3. They are just playing with b3. E5, knight f3. C6, b3, d5, bishop b2, d4. Let's just play. So they go here. And I'm probably just gonna bishop out and castle. Could play it with e5 still. A little more skeptical about it. Let's just be normal. That makes one of us being normal. Okay, what's up? Should pick up the pace a little bit. If knight here, then you give me this. I couldn't give them that. E3 and AC6. I guess rook C1, rook C8. We're good, we got E5 coming. I don't think that was well placed. I also had knight H5. Guess they wanted to take and then knight C6. I guess that was their threat, take and knight C6 maybe. Was that a point? Oh, my rook's hanging. Well, if rook takes A4. Are we going for that? I don't need to. Alright. Take A4. There's like bishop E5 there. I think they were getting like at least 2 pawns and a rook for the knight and bishop. If I have queen D5, rook A4. I mean, that would have been interesting. Maybe this one. If just like rook C1, then I'll do it though. Now this is cleaner. Oh, okay. Yeah. Queen D5, I'll take here. No, there's none of that. Or bishop E5, it was threatening knight C7 as well with my king here. I wasn't really clear on it. I don't know, that could be a dangerous passed pawn in the endgame. Take. I'm actually not so clear this is so great for me. Like, my pieces are vulnerable. Queen A5. Should make a lot of sense. C7, I have knight F6 now. I think keeping the queens on could be good, because I was scared about that guy. I want to go knight B6. I mean, I want to eliminate him. Queen A4, take. Honestly, I'm fine letting you take that. My knights were in a hot spot anyway. Take. Play something like bishop G5. Oh, I just actually asked you to make a good move, didn't I? Wait, this is actually hard to deal with. I should go... Or do I just take A2 and just hope for the best? No, let's do this. We're good. I mean, no knight D6, which otherwise would get me, is good. Trade, and then I'll come here and patch. And otherwise, I want the A2 pawn. Yeah, my king should be safe. Theirs is actually relatively safe. As queen endgames go, our kings are safe. But I want that. They could go there, yeah. Knight D6, I would come back. Queen D7. Do they do that? And we don't really have any problems in this position, do they? They don't really have problems. They don't have any king opening. They don't have anything I can attack. Potentially, let's... Ooh, 88 is an issue. Oh, okay. Dark square not helping. But let's do this. We're also up some time now, so that's probably what this is going to come down to. Dark square really not helping. I have to give this pawn and go. Attacking this. I just need to go. It's a nasty one. Wait, king a3, check tape, b3. No, wait. Oh, that loses. Shoot. Yes! With one pawn! With one pawn, no way! With the one pawn right before, they just went there. And they didn't take it. Oh my god. Typically, I never celebrate dirty flags, but that was really funny. That's really funny. Oh my god. Not with the one pawn. Yes, you legend. You absolute legend of a G-pawn. I was thinking of throwing in a dirty G1 to see if he was ready with the knight, but he didn't feel like he was pre-moving, so I was just like, I'll just do stuff. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow, I really did not deserve to win that game. Okay, but we get a GM from Chile. Bro, you're holding up like a poker hand? Your GM, stick to chess. Bushgas Gambit, of course. Hero pawn. Yes, indeed. Do you want my pawn? Oh my goodness, how long can I leave it hanging? How long can I leave it hanging for you, Mr. GM? Would you like it now? Or am I bluffing? I'm good. I'm good. Okay, okay. Well, we've got a gambit on the board, don't we? Let's get out of this pin. Let's get our gambit glasses on. Alright, well, you kind of saw my idea, didn't you? Kind of saw my idea. That's okay. I'm going to go bishop g4 now that I'm out of this pin so that the knight can attack. You didn't throw in a d4. A d4 would have allowed you to play f3 and stuff without this. However, it would have rerouted my bishop to c7. Could have been smart. Could have been smart. Let's go with rook e8 now. You could play bishop g3. I'll just move. Objectively, this gambit is not enough for the pawn, but it's a really fun one because if they don't want to take the pawn, you just keep asking them, take my pawn, take my pawn, take my pawn. And eventually, they really have no choice. d4, knight a4, rook e2. Maybe. d4, knight a4, bishop b4, c3, then rook e2. Queen g5, h6. We are so close to trapping her. I think we actually do. The other option, which is also enticing, is just bishop b4 right now, threatening d4. Maybe last move. Teach me how to doggy. Come on. Well, here. Okay. This is anti-positional. Oh, they have this and this. Why did that not occur to me? Bishop takes. Rook e2. G5. That was actually a really bad mess. Okay. Just gotta roll with the punches. This would have been better. Defending this. I don't know if they thought they had it. What to do? What to do? Don't know. Should probably get that there. Queen b4. There's rook e5. Kind of took away the idea I wanted to play. Maybe get them to put a pawn on a light square. I don't know. It's actually not a bad idea. So that if like rook e5, I can take and bring the other rook. Take. As long as it's check, right? That's what they were worried about. Now they've got queen d6. Queen d6 is overrated. Oh, wait, no, it's... I thought it was just a pawn. I had no choice. Ugh. I didn't see that. Did not see that. Ah, I thought my position was actually okay there. That it was tough for them to make progress. Alright. Oh well. Okay. No, I mean, I know what I did wrong here. Rats. First of all, why is h6 the move? I thought this is pretty logical. this was terrible. But bishop b4, I think, is annoying. I'm trying to play d4. I thought if you played d4, I was going to go here. Oh, but it's my queen. I didn't see that either. Didn't realize you could take it. I thought that pin was nasty. Because then the other thing I'm trying to do is, like, take and then sneak in there with rook or bishop if, like, say your queen is there. Yeah, I mean, you don't have... Actually, white is lost here if it wasn't for this resource. No, but this was dumb. You could take it with the bishop defending here. I somehow didn't see that. They're just much better. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like my opponent was making a ton of progress here if I didn't blunder, but they were up a pawn, and I had some weaknesses on top of that, I guess. This was dumb. Check. Forcing my king here. And then they had this. You can't see the clock entirely. Okay, I'll fix that for the next game. Alright, we got a little bit of a break now before the next round because that was round 4. I have 2 out of 3, but I start with a 0-point bye. So we have 2 out of 4 in the tournament. Thank you, chat, for having my back on that one. Do I play e4 every time? Yeah, pretty much. Except when I played d4 just for the von Popiel gambit. This bad boy. Which you can get pretty much every game. Because if they play knight f6, you just Jobava it. And now e4, you just have to learn this line as well. But otherwise, takes and bishop g5. Me, there's a lot of other e4 lines I love, so I play e4, and I still get my von Popiel kicks out of d5, wherein I play d4, and look at that, what a beautiful transposition already. Or sometimes even if they play an Alekhine, you can play knight c3, and what a lot of Alekhine players do is d5 in this position to play their own special little line, because they're special little snowflakes because they play the Alekhine. But now you play d4, and look at that. So we got a lot of transpositions. I am an FM, yeah. Can I try the Jobava London Gambit for black? I don't know what you mean exactly. What's the Jobava London Gambit for black? Big fan of this line, though. Because if the bishop develops too early, first of all, if it's blocked, then we go to our attack along this diagonal against this poor king. And if it develops too early, then we have this special von Popiel queen takes f3 sacrifice. The one that you go knight c6. I'm going to need more moves than that. Oh. Yeah. This one. So, this is standard Jobava London position. How can we make a gambit, an exciting attack sacrifice out of this one? Well, we play knight c6, bait them into a knight b5, which looks like we have no defense on c7 now. We don't have knight a6, we don't have rook c8, or anything. But here we play e5, d takes e5. Now, there's 2 moves I give in this video on my channel. I give a6, which is objectively better. And it's still quite tricky, because there's a lot of ways for white to go wrong here. Including takes, a takes b5. After bishop takes g7 here, black is just much better, with a lot of activity down these pawns. Or if, like, knight c3 here, knight to h5, we got bishop to b4, we got d4 coming. So, again, a lot of fun in this position. But there's an even more fun line, which is with knight to e4. Now, with knight to e4, there's two moves you should know. There's queen takes d5, and there's e6. So if e6, though, we play take, and then we allow them to eat our rook, and after queen to f6, we are winning, with pressure here, here, and on b2, and also with bishop to b4 check, and checkmate patterns coming down against that king. Or at the very least, like, you know, I don't know, they play like something like bishop g3. Okay, yeah, we can just take and checkmate them, right? So this is a really fun one. You should know queen takes d5, which is the quote-unquote refutation. However, this is extremely difficult to play. You can't take it, because then takes and they will eat their queen back in tricky little forky fashion and just be 2 pawns ahead. But after bishop to f5 here, this is actually a really, really fun gambit as well. We're trying to play bishop b4 and knight b4, both of which could end in checkmatey ideas, say like this, and king c8, and now... yeah, bishop b4 and knight b4, and, you know, if we get one check on that king, it could be checkmate. So there's some fun lines here. With perfect play here, white is, you know, a couple pawns ahead, but perfect play is extremely difficult to attain, and I cover that in the video. What do you do if they surprise you with an opening you don't know? Great question. If they surprise you with an opening you don't know, odds are it doesn't really matter. Odds are it doesn't really matter. You just stick to your principles, you develop your pieces, you castle your king, and you should be okay. Not knowing theory, unless the position's like super critical, it's very hard to just find natural moves. Like, to give a really stupid example, right? e4, e5, a4. I've never seen this move. What do? Well, I'm just going to stick to doing good stuff in the opening. Castle my king, develop my pieces. Generally, things should be fine if you play good chess. Right? Like, oh, I've never seen the knight developing this way, right? It's trying to come to c4. Like, you'll be okay. I just made that up right now, right? So... just playing good chess. Don't panic if you don't know the opening. But do panic if the position is, like, critical. If natural moves might lose. Say, I don't know, it's a Gambit Man opening. Might be a little different. You're a new subscriber. Do I play with viewers? Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes I play against viewer streams. But welcome to the Gambit Chat community. Thank you for subscribing. What's up, Adamisco? Video. Guys, check out Adamisco Sack on YouTube. Certainly an awesome Gambit Chat himself. An innovator. Video on the same line, getting it from Mike. Haven't seen knight e5, though. Were you talking about the Jobava line? I don't know which one was knight e5. Traxler is fun. My version of the Traxler is in the Bush-Gas Gambit, where we offer this pawn once and twice, and if they accept the second time, hitting here, threatening d4 and all that, then this is very similar to the Traxler. In fact, this is the Traxler if this knight came from g5, and this pawn would still be on the board. But there's actually a lot of fun lines where we take advantage of the fact this pawn is not there, you know, this pawn not being there, and now the queen has this whole file to work with. So not having that pawn on e5 is actually really awesome that the Bush-Gas has instead of the Traxler. There's some key differences. There's some lines where you would want it, like there's like for example, they could threaten, say maybe takes here, queen h4, g3. I know maybe in like a mainline Traxler you might play knight takes g3 in this position, but here they have queen e1 check, which otherwise wouldn't be check, and then you would counter check or take something. But here we just do something else, like we play queen f6. Anyway, we'll talk more about that later. We are playing a Ukrainian person. I could tell by just the characters alone. Cyrillic. Okay, here we're going to take, and we're going to win this game just because my opponent has doubled pawns. Knight d4 is the main line. we're going to try to take advantage of this. Can we win a game off of doubled pawns alone? I'm gonna play it with just a calm bishop d2 here. So that if something like rook b8, I'm just gonna play b3, and I want to keep my structure real solid like that. So a5 played. I kind of want to play knight a4. Am I crazy for that? I like this knight a4, pawn c4 kind of situation. This is finesse. I'm Karpov, chat. I'm Karpov. Gambit man is structure man this game. We're targeting this pawn. Now I'm going to play c4 at the first opportunity. Do I want an f4 and a knight f3? Do I just want to develop? I can also just come here. All right, we're gonna do it with an f4. Yeah, we're gonna do it with an f4. Knight f3, c4, castles. Why am I playing c4? The point is to blockade this pawn. And now this guy's stuck on d6, right? So let's play... Well, knight f3. I think they're threatening c4 with this being a target now. So let's play it ourselves. Well, actually, knight f3, c4, e5. Yeah, mayhaps, mayhaps. Okay. Boom. Now, I want this advance to be really tricky for them to get in. d5, I'm going to push e5 at any moment. And it really works against this bishop as well. So now I think I've got some nice targets on the queen side with this guy stuck. My knight here just locking down the whole queen side, defending b2. Knight f3 castles, and I think I'm going to have really nice control of the position at this point. I guess they should play bishop g4. They do, because they want to make that trade. I could have, but h3 was really testing the issue in terms of delaying castling. Alright, but anyway, next is queen e1, sidestepping this. And also, this pawn is now a huge problem. They played a5 because they wanted to play a4. Why did they want to play a4? Well, they wanted to also attack b2, and then on b3 they wanted to make that trade and cause some other issues. So they have to do something like this. We're going to slide queen e1. And with queen e1, we also have the opportunity even to play, yeah, knight h4, and then that bishop would be in hot water. So now have fun defending this pawn. I'm going to play b3. Oh, this knight is actually really sexily placed. Very sexily placed. Could play f5 at some moment, but when I do hand them this square. Alright, so that's what they're looking for. That's exactly what they're looking for. They are trying to play f5 themselves. Bishop c3, f5. Or we should just play rook h3. Yeah, let's do that, because f5 now, I'm just going to take it. What they want more than anything is actually knight b6. So let's keep this bishop on the board. Let's not play bishop c3 yet. Let's keep it on the board so that knight b6 is not an option. And this is annoying. Knight b6 would free you. If you can make this knight trade, then you can start attacking b2. You play a4 if I play b3. And you would make something of this file. Instead, you're kind of without play in this position if you're black. With my knight on a4 doing a really nice job, and I'm also, of course, looking at queen to h4. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? When I've got the queen side locked down, let's proceed on the king side. This is queen on e1, doing a lot this way, stopping f5. The Otherwise, so you're now targeting here. Queen h4. Well, I have queen h4 and potentially snagging e7. That seems like a good idea. In fact, I can probably dare you to make this trade. Aha. So f5. I mean, I think I just want to go f5 and run him over. I could go bishop c3 and continue finesse, but I also would like to just run you over. You don't have rook b4. Or could you give it a shot? A takes b4 is interesting. With that knight hanging. Because b3, I lose it. Okay, so now you're just desperately trying to open it up, which makes sense. I can't take it here because of this. So let's go rook into the game as I look for checkmating patterns, because I would love to play b3. I'd love to play b3, but this is hanging. So I'll give you the chance to take this, but it just might be the end of you. I could have played bishop f4 there. I could play it now. Let's just take it. I think I've got a lot of good stuff here. I got a lot of good stuff, got a lot of good pieces. b3 would just lock it down, and then I'll continue to hit my targets. What's happening if I just take it? Because f takes, I can maybe take the knight. I'll take here. Let's just play solid with bishop to e3. That probably made more sense. But I wanted to keep this knight. So that was under attack. I'm able to just retain a good position. I don't think you want to give up that dark square bishop. I don't think you can, actually. I think the game's just over. I just take here. If h takes, I checkmate you. If f takes, then I give this rook, and I checkmate you. Otherwise, I'm just going to eat c5 cleanly. And everything's really well defended in my position, honestly. I guess they can try to do this. Okay. Let's think about what we're going to do here. So bishop g5. Let's just do that. Let's just do this. Let's just make this trade. I didn't have to. I think if I dodged it, I had other resources like e5 and then just eating this. But okay, this should just be one check. I guess check. I have to guard the rook, right? So why don't we go queen e3 back? So they try to play g5 to straighten that out. And let's take this. Play b3, keep it solid. And okay, our attack didn't work out, but at least we've got that c5 pawn still being a problem for them. That has not gone away. That has not gone away. Ah. Haha. That is a nice little trick. That is a nice little trick there. I mean, they were just so tied down. They were super tied down. Now we take and we win. Okay, that was not the cleanest win because our attack didn't really work out. But even though our attack didn't work out, my opponent was still suffering in the endgame just because of this c5 pawn. So let's have a look. I think this is a really important structural lesson here. The very first thing I did, knight a4, was actually really, really good. So I took this knight. I took this knight and doubled these pawns really importantly, right? So the best move for white is knight to d4, which ordinarily is not an option in like the regular Rossolimo here. But the regular Rossolimo is a little different because my knight is in front of this pawn. And what you'll see very often here is like h3, knight h2, f4, just to come back. Like a lot of moves to clear this pawn. But if my knight is here, On c3, then what am I able to do? Just f4, knight f3. Right? So, no, I'm not controlling the d4 square, but I'm able to just play f4 without that being blockaded and take a lot of important space. So that's exactly what happened in the game here. And I played here bishop to d2, a slick move to set up knight to a4, blockading this pawn on a5. And now it was a huge problem for them the whole game. They wanted to set that pawn on a4 really quickly. They wanted to set the pawn on a4 really quickly and then target b2 and then look at a takes b3 and opening things up when they had the chance, which would make b takes c6 really worth it if they're able to open this up. But knight a4, and we are able to just completely lock down this part of the board. Queen c7, queen e1, they have to take this knight, or else I was going to slide out the way, and then maybe f5 and trap you. So takes rook takes f3, and now look at this position, with a5 being a huge target, with this defended so well, d5 is not on the table either, because that knight is eyeing c5, so what can you do if you're black? You got no play. Okay, I mean, let's analyze that more later. Alright, next game we're playing, I am Ian Tsumagalayev in the next round of Title Tuesday. Title Tuesday is good so far. We've got 3 out of 5. In the games I played, we got 3 out of 4 because I had a 0-point bye in the first round. Our one loss was to a Chilean Grandmaster. Okay, knight to f3 played. Could do a couple things. Let's go c5. What? Playing such garbage. I actually did want to play g6, so take that how you will. I actually did want to play g6. Move. Should I just do that? Okay, let's just do something. There's no pawn that can ever kick me out of that spot. I just want to recapture and then kick you and then castle. Or I'll take it, right? So they have to take me. This was such garbage. The thing is, this stays, right? Unless I play f6, in which case I cut you. But we could go for something. I mean, knight d2, how am I going to play this? I mean, yeah, probably f6 and just castle. Could go this way. Not totally off the table. Alright, let's just do it. Maybe that was actually... Or now it will be with the D line? C4, interesting. Come on, we gotta be able to get him somehow. D4, E4. Let's just go here for now, because you're never gonna do anything that way. Bishop E3 is interesting, honestly. Let's just go here, threatening this. Well, not really. This would hang. Right? Should have gone... No, it doesn't do it either. On castles is... Yeah, no reason he can't do it. A5, A3. Go for this. Take, take, take. It's interesting. Give it a shot. Could have just been normal. But where's the fun in that? I guess if they keep this bishop and that one, maybe we just asked for trouble. Would be good to have you here. But that's going to be too late for that. I guess they can go... Oh, they didn't. I guess they didn't want to give G2. Alright, let's pick up the pace. We got this. Come on. Bring me this game. This king is so open. Let's get him. First this, so we don't get mated. Let's get him. I'm so gonna get him. I'm so gonna get this king. My pieces are so ready to spring into action. Be reasonable, William. Just queen of 5. 5. Oh, I'm gonna sneak back there. Yeah, you're mine, Mr. King. We got some fun stuff like check here. Boom, boom, boom. There's nothing you can do to me. Not a lot you can do to me. What are you gonna do? Nothing. Check. Game over. Check here. V2. Okay, let's do that. Oh, and G2? Well, you gotta go pawn takes or else I gotta check. Let's just be smart with G2. Now I got check and check, among other things. You're still out the game. Queen d6, I still got that. Let's GG real quick. Yep. Yep. Played h4, h5, made me mad. Check. Just covering the a4 square. Covering the a4 square. That check. Now here I have this and you're out of checks. Wait. Are you out of checks? Yes. There we go. Closer one than I needed. But that's what happens when you play against me. Come on, h4, h5? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't believe so, Mr. I Am. Mr. I Am, who is now under 2,900. Sorry about that. I think I had here... I wasn't sure, but takes e2. Could I have done that all with checks? Maybe I could have. Anyway, GG. All right, we're rolling in Title Tuesday, playing a German FM. Bushgas Gambit time. Maybe let's move. Thank you. D4, knight 6. My opponent, by the way, is just under 3,000, 2,982. But little do they know what's about to hit them. Oh, I was going to say the Grafe Banco Gambit, but they played this line, which is not a gambit. But black should be getting a pretty decent position. Pawn a6 is actually tremendously useful in this line, keeping annoying guys out of squares like b5, like bishops or knights, where it would bother me on c7. This is interesting. Of course, this is their idea, and it makes some sense. If I play e5, knight f3, knight c6, let's say they trade, bishop c3 and trade, could, knight f6 is the one move that makes their move look not so useful, but they play like bishop f4 in that position, and then I undo my move. Let's just go here. e5 really takes advantage of this, and this would be annoying otherwise. c6 here. Now I'm tempted to not give them this. I mean, I could, and then I just play like f6, and the position's fine. But what if I make your move not so useful? It's actually probably okay there. What about this? Is that annoying? Bishop g5, we trade, play f6. Maybe I should just trade this. All right, let's look at this interesting idea. So, I want to check and take it, or trade off that. Really? Oh, do you have takes f7 here and queen check? Is that your idea? I don't know. What do you got here? Gonna trade in some sort of queen trade situation. And I'm looking at like knight d5, I guess. Can you really? So takes, you have this. King f7, queen b3. Do you want that? Queen b3. I have their bishop e6. Queen b7. I can throw in a bishop c4 kind of thing there. Or we could just pull back. This is interesting. Takes, knight check. King. Do I have anything? No. Alright, let's just make a decision here. Knight back. Alright, let's do this. What do you got? What you got? What you got, boys? Hard to find. Think about it all the time. Check here is kind of what I was thinking. Alright, let's get rid of this knight that's super bothersome. And in fact, I'm even willing to gambit this pawn and just bishop e7. This is kind of the vibe that I was thinking. Could have just played a normal equal endgame. Instead, we decided to go crazy. Ooh, we got to sacrifice a pawn. Okay, you want to make this trade. I see. And then be up a pawn in the endgame. So... no, thank you. c7 I have here. Yeah, or queen d7 even. Probably better. Okay. Well, actually, now you can't really take it, because I have bishop a3. So, you should go pawn takes, maybe. And now, I guess you have queen c7. So let's get out the way. But now you can run. Maybe I should have done this last turn, because now you can actually save this pawn. Maybe I should have just, yeah, I should have just eaten that pawn. Rook b2 is a better move there. Let's see what we can do, but I feel like they've consolidated. Yeah, I just have no time here, also. That didn't happen the way I wanted it to. I think I had a good chance, though. Okay, I'm curious to analyze this. My position was good. This was interesting. What's up here? They really liked my position, actually. Just like bishop e6 or just trading and f6. I liked my position too. I thought this piece was dumb. But I just wanted to do something. So we went for this wild line, and it was good. This wasn't the smartest. So one move I played quickly. Just here in b5. I thought this knight was intimidating, but I guess just check is just nothing. Yeah, it really is nothing. You just check in b5, and then forcing the king back to e1 actually stops rook coordination permanently. So that would have been good. I thought this knight was intimidating. Queen takes also better. Yeah, I did this part really fast, and then it... Okay, but anyway, rook e8, we still have comp. This was also dumb. Yeah, rook b8 here was smart. So you need this pin, else I go check and take. And then otherwise I just eat this pawn. And now, I mean, our position's better just owing to activity and king safety, such stuff. But this was kind of... I mean, I just didn't have enough time to organize the attack here properly. I should have played rook b5 just to eliminate this pawn. Anyway, it was here. I just didn't have the time. No, but I had some chances here in this game. I mean, the most instructive point was just bishop c4. Just bishop c4, right? Because if their king's on e2, their only chance is what they did in the game. Rook here, and then king f1, right? Then they can arrange a sort of castle-like situation there with the rook on the other side of the king and tucking their king away. But if we force them back before the rook is there, I mean, that's just the point, and then hold on to this pawn. Bishop's not going anywhere also. It's completely uncontested, and you're going to have to worry about, like, checkmate stuff in the future, you know, if I can drive that knight away. No, this is extremely good. This is extremely good. The best move for white is just giving this pawn. It's just giving this pawn because the light square bishop is too good. As a professional, is losing games not a big deal, or does it have a big impact on you? Great question. First of all, I'm flattered that I'm a professional. I have a real job. But I mean, you want to have the healthy approach to losing games, right? Like, I teach kids sometimes who are on both sides of reacting to that. There's one where they don't actually care enough that they lost to buckle down, learn from their mistakes, or, like, you know, do their best next time, or think harder during their games, or practice and all these things. You need to care and be upset a little bit that you lost. But most people are on the other side of that, where they're so upset that they lost that they won't go over the game. I mean, taking this as an advice sort of question, you need to be A, upset that you lost, but B, wanting to confront your failures. Right? Like, this mentality that, like, oh, we should brush past failure like it's just an obstacle. Failure is a teaching instrument to help you do better next time. That is the best way to get better, is to go over your games. And, you know, like, I here, obviously, like, my sorts of failures are, you know, like I knew this idea, of course, of check. I just thought this knight was more important. But we want to see what we can learn from our games and do better next time, not make the same mistake again. So the impact that it has on me, I mean, I've lost more games than I can count in my life. I've played so many chess games. The impact that it has on me is just, like, I want to learn from it. Unless, like, it was BS. Otherwise, but especially, like, an online game, like, it's one thing when you're grinding for, like, 5 hours, and it's like, damn, bro. But you got to be able to just do your best from there. All right, let's play d3 here, so there's no more center fork tricks. And now let's go to our all-reliable attack. But also, like, if you're going to be so upset, like, irreconcilably so, that you lost, then how does that affect how you play? You're probably playing so scared. For me, it's just like, this game is what it is. Alright, is this theory for them? I don't really know. This took here. Because I know of this move, knight d4. I don't even know why, but I had this in a blitz tournament game. Knight takes c2, queen h4. It actually is good for white. They can't take the rook. But I haven't yet to check that with an engine. I mean, my instinct... Well, there's actually a lot of things that I can attack in this position. There are a number of things I can attack here. Let's just go with queen h4, I guess. I guess there's some vulnerabilities on that side of the board. I'm just trying to do my best every game. What happens, happens. e takes f5, I have knight d5. Or do I want queen h4 first? I think I want both those moves, right? I think I'm gonna want both of them. Well, queen h4, I might want knight 8. No, I'm gonna want this. I'm not gonna take, because then that like helps them out with what would otherwise be a devastating pin. And now without h6, it's gonna be tough. The other resource I guess I had, if I want queen h4 first, was e5 and knight e4. Just trying to make that knight move. I always have like knight h5. I'm gonna need this here. And my point was that, what was my point? If e takes f5, was I gonna go here? Could also just recapture like a normal person. The pawn on c5 is good, because otherwise this would be like check and bothersome. So they go for that anyway. This was kind of how I thought this would transpose. Queen h4, queen b2 not playable, rook b1, that's defended. We hold it all together. Could just play b3, but I think this is effective. Could just play b3. But I think that, yeah, that's good. b2, rook b1, we're fine. We have f6 here, we have g4 here. g4, queen b2, rook b1, queen c2, gh5. This might be more complicated than we need to make it, but take c3. Rook is hanging in that position. Probably best to just like... Oh, actually I should just play f6 and g4, right? Isn't that just really clean? Yeah, this just wins on the spot. f6. Do you have 8? No, because I have takes and takes with check. So f6, bishop h8, and now g4. And now with that bishop just completely shut in fact, I might even be able to do that. No. But it is close to working. And you... Okay. Anyway. Pawn g4, right? First of all, there's no rush if I just play b3 here. I don't really think there's anything they can do to me. But takes, rook b1, queen c2, gh5. And I think that's all she wrote. But also, like I said, there's nothing you can do to me. What if I just take away that resource? Is this going anywhere? Oh, yeah. Whoops. Well, okay, rook f1. Take. Bishop 6. Alright, we got a couple good things. I think this is one of them. Yeah, just g4 would have been cleaner instead of dealing with this. But go here. I'm just gonna move. So if they have to go into this. Takes, queen takes g5. Now I'm threatening rook h5. So takes, queen takes. If knight f6, I think I have there rook h8 takes, queen f6. No, that's too slow. So okay, I should just take that knight. But if I just have to take that knight, I'm gonna go with this line. e5. Well, e5 gives them queen d4 as a resource. Okay, let's just go with this. Bishop e5, knight e4. I like the other line better. I didn't have to go into this. Really? Okay. Just get rid of that bishop. Now I should have checkmate. But just no time, bro. Just coming back to the H line. Could go to the F line. But this is just here. Here, I should just go there and just win material. Probably, right? Actually, no, I should come to H3. Well, if I come to H3, then this, right? Go here and here, then. Just take this. Just get out of the way. Oh, why didn't I just take this first? Oh, now we got him. There we go. Oof. Okay. Well, that was ugly. Ugly. What's up, Ori? No, I mean, there was a number of times we should have just won this game. This was otherwise a good attack. I actually had 91.5 accuracy, which is surprising. Here, bishop g5 was very good, actually. So, I mean, this is my favorite attack. Like, I go, well, one of my favorite attacks. I go queen e1, f4, f5, opening the bishop, opening the rook, and a queen h4. I'm looking for f takes g6 with the pin here. Bishop h6, knight g5, or rook across, all that good stuff. They take away my knight, which I like a lot. This is the line I was talking about, by the way. Here, take here, and knight a1. And we're actually going to come checkmate them here with, like, knight d5 and coming in there. So, good stuff. Knight e5, they eliminate that bishop, which is fine. e6, they think they can force me to take, in which case they would be doing great with the rook opening. But they can't. I'm just playing bishop g5 and more pressure. Queen b6, shouldn't be too bothersome. By the way, this is plus 4.5. So knight h5, they hit me there. f6 just jams them in. And, well, the move I play b3, which is fine. It shrunks my advantage from plus 5.5 to plus 2. Just g4. Queen b2, rook b1, everything's defended. This was what I was saying during the game. I'm like, what in the world do I have to worry about here? Like, by playing f6, shutting in that bishop, they have nothing here, and I'm just checkmating them on the h-line in, like, 2 moves. So b3, I just thought they had no defense, but now h6 is a little bit annoying. I play here this slick move, rook f1, which was very slick, actually. Got a brilliant. If takes here, then queen takes g5, and now they're out of ideas. I'm going to crash through on this h-line. There's nowhere for the knight to go. Say knight f6, I just go rook f6 here, and I think we're just kind of checkmating them. So, queen d8 was really annoying. I take it, bishop f6, queen g4. This is all correct still. They've got a lot hanging in this position. Here, here, here. They're not up any pawns, so they still got lots of problems. I mean, that was worth a shot to not lose material, or just kind of keep the game going. I mean, I actually never really let my advantage slip at all here. I probably should have just taken the rook at this point. But I mean, the bishop is so powerful without its dark square counterpart, right? So there's lots of mate threats I can make, and they don't have their dark square bishop. So that's like a huge win for me because they've got all these light square pawns, and it's very difficult for them to guard all these mate threats. They could have taken this pawn, like I mentioned during the game, but I was really have this, which looks kind of inevitable at this point. I don't know. You play f5 to create a square, then rook g1, and you're losing something here. So, I mean, I actually never let my advantage slip, and I played, I think, much better than I thought. And we won the queen here, and then our blitz out was good. I mean, that was actually a good practical decision because with this h-pawn, it allowed me to make a lot of pre-moves. I had the h-pawn and the f-pawn, so I was able to make a lot of pre-moves here, which worked out pretty well, and we won this game. So it actually was a good attack. This was a good attack. So we didn't take on e6 here, opening the rook as a defender. Instead, we played the bishop directly to g5. That's a really annoying pin here. So you play queen b6, we play queen h4. So I get everything I wanted. I shifted my rook there. I have this pawn on f5 in your face, and I'm going to take it when it's opportune to me, not when it's opportune to you, because you're not playing g takes f5. That's just going to make a bad problem worse. And now you're dealing with all these issues. Knight to h5, f6, really nice move, f6 actually, because or else if I play, for example, g4 here, this was talking about during the game, well, I feel like they do have counterplay. First of all, f6 now is actually winning. It just transposes directly into the line we were talking about. But this is potentially annoying. Of course, this is actually still winning for white, but potentially annoying, just because like I'm playing with active rooks and they're not. But bishop to h8 here, and g4 would have been really clean. In the game, b3, and we still had like a phenomenal attack here, just because like, I mean, look at these pieces, look at these pieces. This is not so bad. We are plus 2.5 here without even being down a pawn. So this is how we attack. We want to use all of our pieces. We want to use all of our pieces, right? So from here, we built it up with this queen maneuver, this f5 breakthrough, gradually improving and bringing out all of our guys in this position. And that's how you attack. You bring all your pieces into the game. That was not so bad. f6 is hot. Good comment. Thank you, Expert Noob, for the follow, and King Black Canarsi for the sub. Dude, move your pieces quicker. I have a panic attack watching you. Yeah, me too. I have a panic attack watching me too. How are we doing here in Title Tuesday? I've got 5 out of 8, which is pretty good. Because I really got 5 out of 7. Because I have started with 0.5. And 2 losses were to GM, and someone rated 3,000 on chess.com. Love paralyzing the opponent. I am crazy in time trouble. Yeah, well, I get there a lot, so. Not my first time in time trouble. Not my first time. I want to finish analyzing this game, which was also a similar position as to the game I just played. So I played here, rook takes f3, and d7, rook to h3. So with this queen side locked down in this game by the knight on a4, which just guards b2, stops the a4 pawn, I'm looking at just continuing my kingside attack with queen to h4 and f5 and all these fun things I can do against the king that is exposed. I mean, knight d7, the knight was guarding some stuff. It opened up the bishop, but to what? My knight is guarding that, and you don't have knight b6 here because my queen, that's just the wonder of a queen. She's pointing that way, but also stopping knight to b6 with this nasty bishop takes a5 resource. So rook fb8, trying to generate something there. But the issue with rook to f to b8 is I can really just ignore you, because are you ever going to do that trade? I don't think so. I mean, that's going to be the end of you real quick. Or even if I don't have that, it's still brutal dark square problems if I have my dark square bishop and you don't. So I was really never too concerned about that resource in the game. They play your knight to f8 to defend, which makes a lot of sense. That maneuver of bringing the knight to f8, it wasn't going to do anything better in the game, and at least the bishop is free. But here we're just going to proceed. I mean, f5, why not come after you? d5 now. I mean, I think that was a good idea and worth a shot, because I don't know what you're doing if you're black here. I don't know what you're doing. My next 2 moves are rook f1 and probably b3. So just completely locking down anything your rooks will ever do, and then I will proceed with my attack. I'll probably make that trade, and then f takes g6, maybe sacrifice there and checkmate you on h7, for example. So I think you had to do something here. So d5, I totally get that. I played here rook to f1, just getting out of the way here and looking at checkmating ideas, bring that last piece into the game. D takes e4, D takes e4. So now they have some file to work with, but like d5, as I mentioned, that was their only break. And now look at what my knight can do. My knight can eat that pawn, which is otherwise impossible to protect. Look at that. So queen to d7, trying to generate something. Just bishop to e3 to not lose the bishop here. Again, you don't want to take this. This is not going to be a good trade for you. I'm going to play f takes g6 and look at checkmates. Okay, wait, next game. We are playing an FM from Greece. Oh, von Hennig Gambit. Yeah. Let's go. Don them. Don the glasses. Let's do funky glasses for our funkiest line. Vasilos Dimkatsanas. Billy S 2010. Is my opponent born in 2010? Billy S? Playing a 15-year-old. Well, 15-year-old is 2900. Have you ever seen before knight g5? So, we are threatening to take and take in some order with this nasty, nasty pin. Bishop to f5 is otherwise a really good move. Getting that bishop out on the other side of these pawns. If you were jammed in there, then I would take that diagonal and checkmate you. You must move that bishop. If h6 or bishop e7, I will eat and eat. So you must slide bishop g6. Maybe he's realizing I have takes. Ah! Billy S. Interesting idea. I actually don't even know the move here. Tempting to sacrifice the queen, but not a good idea. Queen e1, that is also not a good idea. Bishop e2 is an idea, but not a good one. So, let's just go maybe here. Well, I want it in such a spot such that if h6, I got something, right? I need to have something there. Like knight takes something. This is interesting right now. Takes. That's actually maybe even a good idea. Because the other option... What's interesting? Takes h3. Forcing here. Then like queen f5. No, it's not a good move. I'm thinking knight f7 is a... Well, actually the problem with knight f7 is this. Just occurred to me. So... Okay. Are you gonna dare me to do it? Wait, knight f7, yeah, that was a problem, right? Yes. Queen e1, I didn't have it. So if h6... Well then, this is interesting. Take, check. You really want me to do it, don't ya? Take, h3. Well, I also have take, queen e4. King g8. Decisions. I can't see how to make it work. Unless I can. Four. Alright, let's give it a shot. I think I want this move. Not h3. I wasn't certain about it. I want to take away c5. I don't think I actually took it away. c5. What's this? c5. Just d5. So here, this is just a draw, right? Here, check. Maybe it's just a draw. But rook f6 is the compelling line. Take, take, and then trying to snatch e6. Oh, really? Could have just done it. This was interesting, though. I think I'm winning. Ah, you have that covered. So... dodge this, don't I? Really? Stuff. Oh. Oh. Ah. Rats. Rats, rats, rats. What did I miss here? What did I miss? What did I miss here? Because this so could have had them. It was this. What? What is the... This is working. E1 takes... And now H3. G4, G5. Just getting the knight back. And then also this. Ah. Wow, okay. But this was right. This was right. We did everything right. I think we just spent too much time. Oh my god, we both... When they play King E8, my queen was hanging. We both totally forgot about that. Okay. Well, takes. This was my idea if the king went to G8. This was my idea if King G8, then I think this is more clear, right? Then, like, this king is toasted on these light squares. But it's also effective if they go here. We're winning. Just taking here. Rook swings in. They can't defend. Oh, this gave me another chance. Bishop F4. This was all good moves I was playing. I just didn't really have the time. I mean, here I'm just playing takes, but I have 15 seconds left, so I need to make these decisions faster. Just don't accept that trade. This king is stuck. It can't castle, and it's going to be in for a rough time. Maybe even just tripling on this line. And you know, because that, I guess, fortifies their defense, and here they just want to give a position they could flag me in without getting checkmated quickly. Which I guess is a strategy. I could have had them. Could have had them. Rook F6 was the move. And this was too slow. But just Rook F6 anyway. Okay. Oh well. Board is too small. Well, that's as big as the board's gonna get. There you go. Alright, next game. I am from Argentina. 29-17. Looks like a kid. Hit me with the G3. Alright, we can... should we play Catalan? Let's play C5. Let's try to keep it spicy. So D5, B5 maybe? With the bishop not able to come out in that direction. And now I drag the queen out, right? I think I have E5 here. E5, because now I would win this knight. So I think we're just ahead of pawn. Am I crazy? E3, I even have this move. Now I might be crazy. Let's see, I C3 and I go E4. Might have a hard time hanging on to him. I don't know. Yeah, I might have a hard time hanging on to him. Do they have comp? Sensation? So if I go take, D5, C5, knight D5, knight E5, knight E3. Not sure what's happening. Alright. We're just gonna have to play this position. Just gonna have to deal with it. Bishop B6. Should be nothing. I guess they have... Yeah, they do have compensation now. I had some other... I could have done that, but then I was just losing that pawn. It's hard to say what I was supposed to do. Take CD5, I was going to drop this. Gotta go here, else we're forked. Take CD, you want your rook in there. So, do I care? Should I go here? Probably here. We're making some trade that we want. Take CD, bishop b6. Takes, and queen to c8. Then they do some slick knight move, right? I have this move as well. Take queen b4. Alright, let's just go for it. If I have queen b4 and queen b5 might be the easiest way to handle this. Queen d6 and knight c4. Or we could just do something normal. Okay, well, this is good. Just up a pawn. Can't get mated. Can't get that trapped either. Oh, they have rook takes d7. They have rook takes d7. Yeah, nice. I didn't see that. Ugh. Man. This dude was fast. He was fast. Yeah, I mean, they do have compensation here. All the moves he played was quite good. I was playing all the right moves, too. Just an 87 here. I just thought then this stays in my face, right? But I can get out. Played with knight a5. Well, this was fine. Queen e3. Neither of us thought of that before here. No, I'm still should be up a pawn. Guess I really underestimated this. Just king f8, king e7. I think we're up a pawn here. They got a little bit of compensation, I guess. I think we... This made a bad problem worse. Should have just let d6 go. Now... I mean, this would have moved. Causing issues here. My knight has no squares until this pawn moves. I have to deal with this. This was tricky. b4 and a4. My rook gets trapped. I mean, they didn't really give me a chance here. That was nasty. I actually, when I looked at this, I thought before I could play king d8 here. With this knight hanging now. But pawn takes a5. I've got no way out of this. Takes, they take and defend. And rook takes b5. This comes with check. And then I lose that rook. I mean, yeah, I mean, just really well played by my opponent, who played good moves quickly. Good moves quickly, and really did not make it easy on me. I gotta make moves quickly, too. Alright, I want to finish analysis of this game. Bishop F. So, okay, I played Bishop E3 here. Once my bishop was attacked, targeting C5, trying to shield my king from checks on D4. In the game, they played Bishop F6, targeting my queen. Just because I think it makes a lot of sense what they did. Trying to delay what looks pretty inevitable, which is takes G6. And then I either sacrifice for that knight, or I just kind of take C5, Bishop H6, make that bishop trade, and come into H8 once that trade is made. So, not obvious how you're recapturing on G6. So, Bishop F6 delays what looks pretty inevitable, Queen H6, and now they continue, Bishop G7, and I need a way out, so I go with Bishop G5, which was a terrible, terrible choice, actually. I just need to kind of go anywhere, and my position's actually really nice. Can play B3 to make everything solid if I want, but then C5 is getting eliminated. I also have E5, and this attack will work when I want it to, but otherwise I control pretty much all facets of the board. I control the queen side, owing to this knight, I control the center of the board, and I also control here. So, everything looks good here. But I played Bishop G5, which is actually a horrendous mistake, because my opponent had Queen D4 check. I think I pointed this out during the game. If King to H1, Queen takes C4, and then all of a sudden, that's a brutal fork, and the tide has completely turned. So, yeah, this is not good at all. It's not good at all. I don't have Bishop E3 because my queen is hanging, so not fun situation. Fortunately, that didn't happen because they traded here, and I thought that's what I wanted, a dark square bishop trade. But now I kind of have to reckon with Queen D4 check and such, as I mentioned. So that's why I went back Queen E3. They played F6 to try to play G5, I figured, to lock it down as much as possible. But fortunately for me, even if my attack kind of fizzles out, what I do have here, as I mentioned during the game, just playing B3, so consolidating all this, what I do have here is what I had at the very beginning of the game, which is just a knight on A4, pressuring the pawn on C5, just all reliable structure, even if the queens are off the board and I'm no longer checkmating them because of my poor Bishop G5 decision here. Again, just dodging that and keeping my excellent bishop was actually the way to go. But now I just have a ton of pressure on C5, and this endgame was a nightmare for my opponent. Knight to D7 forced, and this was really the only thing they could do. They can't even come to D8 because takes introduces a pin. So now they're just completely stuck. I make this trade, which wasn't necessary at all, but now bring my king in, and I was looking for some idea with this trade. Like, I thought maybe I make like a past H pawn or something. Here, now I was just trying to move my king and not walk into a fork. King G3 was just random in time trouble, but King E6 was what I was trying to bait, because Rook takes D7 ends the game, takes, and Knight takes is check now, and they lose it. I don't think you wanted to play this endgame as black regardless, though. Yeah, I mean, that pawn sucks. That pawn sucks. That's why we doubled them, right? If you could just have that guy on B6 or D6 or something, then they guard each other. This is a completely different conversation. Alas, my knight here, jamming these files, pressuring C5, was actually the hero of the game. Not often that happens with a knight on the rim of the board. Alright. Alright, next game. CM from Iran. I knew that. Grafe Banco Gambit. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do the E6 line. Which let's swap our Gambit glasses. Let's swap our Gambit glasses for better luck here. What's up, Chess Riddle? Tim Schmolter. Thank you. Alright, they played D takes F6, E6. They didn't wander into D6 or Knight D6 check, or any of those tempting lines. Let's go D5, which threatens Queen A5 check, and D4. They could play E3 here. But you should be careful about playing like Bishop F4, looking at that, which looks tempting as well, because, yeah, you're losing that. If D6, this is covered on my channel. This is really fun stuff. But Queen to A5 check, Knight E4. I'll talk more about that later. So here, let's play Knight to C6 simply, and E5, E4. So my opponent doing really logical stuff. But this is the compensation we are looking for. This is, in fact, exactly the compensation we are looking for. Let's go Bishop to E7. Could have played e4 probably right away. All right, let's do it now. What do we think, chat? Probably not. Probably not, right? Let's just castle. Okay, okay. We're straight chilling here. Let's go with bishop to e6. Got a couple ideas. Let's just play bishop e6. All right, this is our compensation. My opponent has done really all reasonable things. a3. Let's go rook b8. I think probably would want to put that pawn there. No, they don't. They do not. Queen e8. There's still knight c7. So let's just play queen d7 here. So b4, which might have been their idea, pressuring here is no more. And I got some ideas pressuring here. d4, bishop c4. It's on my mind, certainly. But so is like knight g4 now, with this bishop a bit overwhelmed. Got all my pieces on good squares, got the whole center. Nice compensation here, nice compensation. I don't. So my opponent's got their pieces out, but really nothing to do because I kind of control this whole board. If you want to play f3, that's your funeral. And I would be happy to attend it and even make the arrangements. So d4, got some pressure. Let's continue with this knight g4 stuff. I understand you might want b4 in that position. Let's say c4, knight d4, maybe even. That's kind of interesting, actually. Let's see what happens here. Knight g4. Got to make some pressure, or else they're going to do something down here, right? Queen c3. I have parry. Knight g4. I'm looking at bringing the other knight into e5, or even that knight. What's up with take queen? g3. Not yet, not yet. Not yet, but maybe soon. Take. The next step would be swing you here. I think this is just my next move, though, pressuring this knight. Really? That didn't make any sense, though. I have too many good moves here. d4. Wait, takes. Okay, but that's hanging. But bishop f6. Bishop f6. What's happening there? Take. I guess you want rook c2 there. I don't believe in that. I also have this. No, I don't have that. d4 take. Knight d4. It's an interesting continuation. Could just go here. Maybe that's simplest. Maybe that is the simplest way to go. f4, ef3. I mean, we can't get mated, right? f4, ef3, knight f3. What if I do this now? Take. Knight takes. Alright, let's just take it. This move. take and take. Can you do that? Rook c2? With the fork? I underestimated this move. Yeah. At least he's 7. Okay, with 0.2 seconds left. Man, not a great game. Not a great game. What number round was that? Don't tell me that was... I think we're done. I think we are done. Congratulations to this random guy with the Santa Claus profile picture at Magnus Carlsen with 9.5 out of 11. We had 5.5 out of 11. Really out of 10 because we had a 0-point buy in round 1. We had some good games. We had some tough games. Sturdy flag. I can't believe we came out of that doing okay. All right. Much appreciated. Much appreciated, y'all. Okay. Thank you, guys. What about d4, knife 6, knife 3, e6, c4? What do I do there? Yeah, sadly you have to play chess here if they don't play a delayed London, but rather c4. What I play here is a6 because that's kind of a transposition to what I do anyway. Here a6, if they play knight to f3, I play e6 in this position. Because b5 doesn't do anything unless there's a knight there and you can bother it. Otherwise the bishop just develops cleanly on this diagonal. So otherwise, we can make use of this move just by trying to play d5, trying to win that pawn, and with this pawn chain. Or, you know, if they're, like, really defensive of this pawn, what we just try to do is make sure that bishop moves twice, and then playing b5 and bishop to b7. Otherwise, you know, they got to take it, and then this bishop comes out on this diagonal. That's all I can promise. I mean, I don't have checkmate in 10 moves kind of situation there. Just playing e6, taking advantage of this a6 move. It's very bothersome. Trying to take that pawn, either make that bishop moves twice, or just secure that extra pawn on the chain. Or if you induce a trade here, then the bishop develops cleanly and just pawn to c6, and you should be good. And then that's when we start looking at like kingside attacks and everything, once you have a good position. All right. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in to Title Tuesday. Peace out. See y'all.